welcome to this week's edition of Relationship Marketing Weekly. We have a very special guest on our show today from the pest control industry. This is the owner of Extermaman out of Bountiful, Utah. Please welcome to our show today, Carl Wilson. Carl, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Cody. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm really excited to have you on here today. You know, you really understand the essence of the heart of our system. You know, we talk a lot about if you want to implement relationship marketing, you got to create a balance between a system that you use and put the heart into the system. And you're a master at that. You're really a big advocate of sending heartfelt greeting cards and messages to people. We want to talk a little bit about that today. First of all, tell us a little bit about your business, about how long you've been in business and what kind of marketing and advertising or anything do you do to generate new customers?
Sure. I've been self-employed since about 2002, was in business with family up until about 2006. We split. I've been doing my own thing since then. When I first got into the industry, the yellow pages were still, the hard print yellow pages were still kind of a thing. But as I moved out into my own and digital marketing and advertising things were transitioning there, that became a big push and an emphasis for me was to try to move everything into the digital space. And my top 4 lead generating activities are online search related advertising, and another big component is customer referrals and BNI or networking organizations is another one. And I also do a bit with working with my competitors, Coopetition, if you will. So those are the 4 main lead generating activities I do.
Coopetition. What is that? Tell us what that is.
So a surprisingly good amount of my business comes from competitors. So a lot of people, when they think of their competition, they think of, oh, that's the guy I got to fight against or with, and people will have bad feelings or bad blood towards their competitors. I have a completely different outlook or a paradigm on that, where I look at my competitors as friendly. Your competition, they may not like to go to certain areas. They may be too busy to do certain things. There may be certain type of work they don't want to touch or do. There may be certain niches that they don't do or perform that you will. And so I'm a big believer about nurturing my relationships with my competitors. And there are times maybe where any of the above I just listed, I may not want to do those things either. And so I have the opportunity to refer people to them as well. So I try to work in harmony with my competitors rather than having a bad blood with them and fighting with each other. And
you call it coopetition. Is that, how do you say that?
Yeah, Coopetition. I think the term was originally attributed to Ray Norda with Novell years ago, and it's used from time to time in some different spaces or situations. And so I didn't coin it, but yeah, it's Coopetition, working with your competitors.
Wow, that's incredible. It's I think it's I love that. I love it. I think it's really good. And in the pest control business, I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities for you to do that. I know that, my wife and I purchase pest control, and I'll tell you, it's a busy marketplace out there. It's hard to find good help these days. So sometimes, people are weeks, if not months out in scheduling. So I can see how Coopetition would work in your industry, especially when, it's a busy time. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other things you do. You mentioned referrals, and there's a couple of referral generation pieces that you do. You mentioned BNI. You're a member of Business Network International, and so obviously that's a resource for referrals. You also use our relationship marketing system, which tell us some of the things you do. We would like to know a little bit about what do you do at a BNI to generate business for your pest control, and what do you do in sending out tangible touches like greeting cards and gifts? Let's talk about both of those. Let's talk about BNI first. Go ahead.
You bet. So BNI is a professional organization. It requires a commitment. Someone needs to join the organization. They're vetted by a membership committee. And once you're in, there's a regular regimen of showing up weekly. And so you're making weekly contact with the members of your chapter, and you're trying to build credibility with these people. You're working with them. You're many times performing services for them in their own homes, for them and their family and their friends. And then with the principle of reciprocity, giving back and forth, I'm trying to help them get to what they want or who they're looking for. So I tap into my own network, my own contacts. If I have a friend, for example, that's in my chapter that's in the carpet cleaning business, and I see that he has a good reputation with the group, then I will want to try to seek out the people within my circle of influence to be able to connect him to and refer him to them. So each one of us in this chapter professional organization is trying to tap into the power of our own networks to help one another get to what we're looking for.
So the best way to receive referrals is to give them.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah.
We want to give first, not worry about so much about getting. Give. And a number of years ago, I read I don't recall the book, but there was a study done that when we give to people, there's a psychological instinct in us that not only do we want to give back, but we want to give more actually than what we were given. And so, I just try to have that top of mind awareness that not there to really, don't worry about what I'm going to get, but what can I get in there and give and help people connect to. And naturally, they want to help me and give back whatever way they can.
Well, and BNI has that philosophy called giver's gain. The whole concept is you go to your chapter meetings once a week to give referrals and allow reciprocity to work. And you're a great example of that. The other method is send out cards, which is our relationship marketing system. And we run on a philosophy of it's really the same thing as giver's gain. We call it give to give. You give, you reach out to people for the sake of giving or serving those people. We have a way to do that. You know, we have tangible touches, real physical greeting cards and gifts you can send out to people. You use that service, Carl, and you're a master at what I would call heartfelt cards. I mean, you're like your examples of heartfelt cards you send to your friends, to your customers, probably even to some of your competitors when you do that activity. Can you give us some examples of how you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was first introduced to send out cards somewhere back around 2005, 2006. I ended up joining, I believe it was in 2006. I was introduced by a friend and colleague, Mark Applebaum, and I heard a number of examples. He and I were in a Chamber of Commerce together, and I heard him share a number of stories about the service, sending cards to people, and the cards, the sentiments you could send. You could create customized cards. And you could also attach gifts to the cards. And all of this could be done very easy online. I'd already been a believer in sending handwritten cards to people, but it's a little bit inconvenient when you're very busy with family and business and all the activities people have to do. The idea of just jumping online and creating a card and sending it off, stamped, mailed, the whole thing, was very appealing. So anyway, when I first started using the service, I learned you could take photos, digital photos, and embed those into the cards. And I did a number of fun things with friends and family and some customers. It was just unique. It was different. It was fun. Over time, though, I wanted to best understand how I could, both in business and my personal relationships, best utilize this service. And for me, what evolved was at specific times when I felt impressed, hey, there's somebody I'd really like to connect with here, whether that was trying to find a new customer and I needed a unique way to reach out to them, or I had a damaged relationship personally or in business, or I became aware that a customer was dealing with a significant health problem or a family health problem. This was a unique and special way to reach out to those people and to just let them know I was thinking about them and I care about the situation. And for me, you know, I'm a pest control guy, but any other number of businesses, if I was a carpet cleaner, window washer, plumber, electrician, if you have a hardship in your personal life, in your family, and somebody that provides one of these seemingly menial services for you, the pest control guy, the dog walker, you know, whatever, and they take the time to send you a card and a gift, for me, you know, anybody that would provide any of these services for myself, I would say, wow, really? This guy or gal took the time to do this for me. And the bond and the loyalty that can be created and come out of that, to me, is a very powerful thing. So I fell in love with it over time, being to strategically use this at different times and opportunities to create a more powerful emotional connection between me and whoever the recipient was of the gift.
Yeah, so it's like, when was the last time anybody received a sympathy card from their pest control guy? You know, I mean,
that's exactly right.
Definitely separates you and makes a huge impact. It just sets you apart as somebody that genuinely cares about another human being, not necessarily a customer. And I'll tell you, that's what relationship marketing is. That's literally what it is. And it's really hard to teach the business community that principle.
Yeah, if I could share two short stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Semi-recently, I had one customer, a staff member had called them to set up their regular maintenance service. And we were having a difficult time connecting with this customer. And maybe on a third or fourth phone call, the lady of the house answered and let us know that one of her children actually had passed away. Wow. Severe hardship. And so I told my staff member, I said, hey, don't continue to call them. It's obviously a bad time. And not myself, I wanted my staff member to have the opportunity to engage in the process. So I asked my staff member, hey, log onto my account and send them a card and send it to them in your own words. And so they took the opportunity to do that, attached a gift to it. And we didn't have anything come back. The customer hasn't, as of now, called back and had some raving experience. But the opportunity for me to have a staff member engage in this whole process is a very nice, very sweet thing. And at some point, I expect that customer will probably be an opportunity to connect and follow up, maybe hear the rest of the story. But that was a semi recent thing. That was a pretty sweet experience. Then I had another one recently where, again, we had set up a service with a customer and she had to cancel and reschedule, informed me that her son had to go to the hospital over something. Again, had the opportunity, I personally sent a card out to her with a gift attached to it through the send out card service. And I believe it was a week or two later, she got in touch with me and profusely thanked me for the card, how very thoughtful it was, and it just feels great being involved in that process. And this is a very simple thing. I mean, I do pest control. People like that service, but to be able to have this experience in line with my business, I can do it in my business. It's beneficial to the business, and I'm having an entirely another experience of just giving and the feelings connected with all that in this daily process of everything else I have to do.
So just out of curiosity, between your BNI activities and your send out cards activities, how much of your business comes from referral now?
Total referrals between customers and BNI, that's tough to quantify. BNI is approximately 5% of my business. That I've looked into those numbers and quantified that. Customer referrals, a little bit more difficult to know. And some people will tell me, well, hey, 5%, that's not a really big number. Well, that's relative to the volume and size of your business. But for me, I'm a big believer in diversifying my marketing plan and strategy. I don't like all of my eggs in one basket. So to me, it's a healthy enough portion of my business to be involved and engaged. I know some people have a very different story. Hey, BNI or a networking organization is 90% of my business. So for those people, it's a little bit of a no-brainer. Well, obviously you need to be doing that. For me, I would just say that, I have a number of people in business ask me, what's the secret to what you're doing? And there really aren't not a lot of secrets per se. It's trying a bunch of different things that are working and keep focusing on those things and keep replicating and duplicating them. So BNI and relationship marketing, the cards, it's just all part of the overall strategy. And it's not a magic thing that's going to happen overnight. Relationships are hard to work at and to keep up. They do take work, and that's fine. It's fun.
Yeah, I just a challenge for you over the next 6 months or so is perhaps to find a way to quantify some of those referrals come in, because based on what you're saying, my assumption is you don't ask people for referrals. You just treat people nice, right?
That is true. Yeah. We do track inbound lead gen. About 15% is customer referrals. About 15% comes from BNI. About 50% is online search, and about 15% is from competitors. So we know lead generation. As far as what we're already doing, I know about 5% is from BNI. But anyway, yeah, there's some more numbers we can dig into. But yeah.
It sounds like you got a hold of your numbers pretty good. That's very impressive, and I like how you diversify your marketing strategy. I think that's really good. Just in closing, this is a powerful story. You tell a story about somebody that was past their warranty phase.
Yes.
You ended up having a challenging interaction with that customer. I'd kind of like to close with that story because it really describes what relationship marketing is all about and kind of what you're all about. So could you share that with us?
Yeah, you bet. So I think this was about 3 years ago. We had provided a single treatment for a gentleman, and we attached a 30-day guarantee to it. He called me a couple of days after the warranty, and I let him know that the warranty was up. He was aware of it, but still wanted me to honor it and take care of it anyway. The treatment didn't meet his expectations. So I let him know, well, I could give him a reduced cost on coming back out. Couldn't just do it for free because it was past the warranty. Ended up banging heads with him. And in hindsight, I would have handled it differently. Now, just with some of the other experiences I've had in business, I would have just taken care of it. But he took the opportunity to slam me really hard on social media. And that was a learning experience for me. But anyway, probably I think it was about a year later, the experience was still on my mind. I should have handled that differently. I was kind of beating myself up over it. And I thought, well, why don't I send him a card with a gift? My favorite gift in the send out cards arsenal is the brownies. It's just my personal favorite. So I sent him a card with a gift of some brownies attached to it. And a few days later, I happened to receive a text message from him. He said, "Hey, I got your gift. I'm expecting you want me to change your review that I gave you online." And I said, "Truthfully, I have no expectations. If you want to do that, that's fine. I just wanted, with my own conscience, to send this to you, to do my part, that I've done everything to fix this the best I can, to apologize for anything on my part I could have done better or different." And he took the opportunity to counsel me in business, how I should have done it, so on and so forth. So I ate humble pie and listened to him. and I agreed with him. And I told him in hindsight, I probably would have handled things differently. But anyway, he did not change the review. He left it. But again, I had no expectations for anything, whether he changed it or not. This was really about me trying to get me better and improve myself and to do everything I could in the situation. So for me, it was still a very positive experience. I just because I didn't get that, I had no expectations to get that. I just wanted to do the right thing.
The reason I love that story, Carl, is we get a lot of stories like that, and they're typically the stories that you did that made this effort and then they did change the review and everything was all cool at the end and he brought you more business. And you know,
Yes.
you hear those stories a lot, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you did the right thing, and you showed your nature, your true nature, your true heart by doing it. As a result, you were able to release on whatever feelings you had about it. You know, at the end of the day, you did the right thing, and people are not always going to respond the way we think they should, perhaps, you know.
Correct.
Rather than be reciprocal,
Yes.
might take the opportunity to lecture you like this guy did. And sometimes that doesn't land well, but I think it's really a great way to close this show today is at the end of the day, none of those misunderstandings matter. The only thing that matters is that you are at peace with yourself on how you conduct business and how you treat other human beings. And you're a model example of that, my friend. And I appreciate that so much. So those of you who are listening, just be nice to people, whether they're nice to you or not, doesn't matter. Just be nice to people and be kind. And it all does work out in the end. And as a result, you run a highly successful pest control business and have a great life that you live. So Carl, appreciate you being on the show today. Those of you, if you want to know how Carl does all this stuff, just get back with the person that shared this show with you today. I'm sure they can share with you the systems and things that we have. So Carl, thanks again. And thanks everybody. We'll see you next week on another edition of the RM Weekly Show. Take care, everybody.